Welcome to Global Insider Talks. Our guest today runs a very prominent organization in a country that has only gained prominence as a manufacturing hub across the Americas since the recent pandemic. An engineer by trade, he sits at the center of an industry that is heavily involved in manufacturing, defense, and the broader economy, the aerospace industry. I'm Jeff Smith, COO of Factum Global, and today I have the pleasure of introducing you to Luis Lizcano, President and CEO of the Mexican Federation of the Aerospace Industry, joining us today from Mexico City. Hi, Luis.
Hello, thank you, Jeff, and thank you for let me have the opportunity to talk a little bit about Mexico's aerospace industry right now.
It's really our pleasure to have you, Luis. And I'm looking at the background of your virtual background there, and I'm noticing that it really touches so many different aspects of the aerospace industry. So why don't we start off, Luis, and can you tell us a little bit more about the Mexican Federation of the Aerospace Industry, what you do, who you serve? It's really not just about airplanes and airlines, but also about national defense and satellites and aerospace suppliers like Cessna and GE and Bombardier. Tell us a little bit more about the Federation, please.
That's right. You're correct, Jeff. Well, the Federation of Mexican Aerospace Industry, which is also known as FEMIA, is a private nonprofit organization that was founded about a little over 15 years ago, when there was this wave of companies that started looking at Mexico as a potential location for operations, especially manufacturing operations. And, the industry sector started developing in Mexico, and therefore they created a nonprofit organization. Right now we have somewhere around 120 members in the areas of engineering and design, manufacturing, and MRO, and other related services. Basically, we have a nationwide focus on our job, but we represent the Mexican aerospace industry also abroad. We participate in the International Coordinating Council of Aerospace Industry Associations, which has somewhere around 10 aerospace industry associations for all the world. And, we also have the industry voice with aeronautic authorities like ICAO, for example, in Montreal. So that's basically what we do. What we have is that we have different commissions or working groups, from supply chain development to MRO, maintenance, repair, and overhaul, talent formation, space, which is one of the newly created, external trade, and promotion, in which we help companies that are interested in investing in Mexico in our industry sector to have what we call a very smooth transition into a country.
And that's a helpful overview, Luis. What are some of the key issues that that you're facing as an industry, that some of your members are facing?
Well, right now we are, the good thing is that our industry sector in Mexico is, just to put you in context, the size of the industry sector is somewhere around $10 billion per year. That's what we're expecting this year, and this will be basically reaching the levels of the pre-pandemic level that was actually held in 2019. But we're expecting we're back. We have a faster recovery than what we expected. We expect this to happen in our forecasting to happen either in 2024 or 2025, and we are actually reaching that out in 2023. The issues that we have are mainly good issues. We have a trend, in 15 years that we have of record prior to the pandemics of a little over 14% average growth rate every year. So, we have been growing at a very steady pace, and for our industry, those are heavy growths. Usually our industry tends to be a little bit more conservative in the way they grew in a certain region, but in Mexico, they have been growing very, very fast. We have one issue that is affecting us in a positive way right now, which is the nearshoring effect. The pandemics actually let the industry sector know, or the companies, especially the OEMs, that they need to re-engineer or resettle their supply chains. Basically, what's happening is that they are trying to avoid single source suppliers, and they're developing more suppliers, closer suppliers, and they're trying to decrease the dependence that they have from Asia, and therefore there are some additional opportunities than what we had prior to the pandemics, and that explains why we're reaching the pre-pandemics level 1 or 2 years earlier.
So is it safe to say that you're seeing manufacturers in North America that were typically relying on other parts of the world for manufacturing, now relying on Mexico to produce their materials? And do you know of incentives or other things that are happening in Mexico that are enticing the manufacturing to happen there in Mexico?
Yeah, well, the big incentive, we don't have like government incentives or like that. Maybe we have not at a federal level, not at a country level, but we do have at the regional and local level, we do have some incentives. But the real incentive to be here in Mexico for our industry is basically one that actually is a result of the second one, but the result of the second one is that we usually have a very good manufacturing or operation KPIs in Mexico. We have very good results. What we have done, what we have observed in the past is that companies actually come here very cautiously, with small operations, and then after a small amount of time, they see that the country can deliver, right, and their operation in the country can deliver, and then they very fast, most of the times, they decide to expand their operations. So that's what been happening, and what really drives that is that we do have human talent available for our industry that is very efficient and proficient, I would say, in the areas of engineering and design, manufacturing, and also maintenance, repair, and overhaul.
So, Luis, with the growth of the aerospace sector, as a result of nearshoring and post-pandemic, you must be noticing an increased interest from the people, the Mexican workers, who are perhaps studying to be engineers or manufacturers or designers, to take advantage of the growth in the industry. Is that what you're seeing?
Yes, indeed. We have two very good circumstances here. The first one is that we do have a very young population. We have a demographic bonus that in some places, in some other countries, is not as high. We have a very and that population is usually interested by STEM careers, or technology careers, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The Mexicans tend to like this kind of careers, and therefore, our homework there as an industry sector is to have the appropriate education institutions to offer that kind of careers. And right now we have a little shy of 40 different education institutions offering aerospace engineering and technical careers. So we have and we're working on having more, not only in numbers but in the readiness to enter the workforce directly into the operations.
Yeah, I mean, along with growth of the industry itself, it seems like the programs that you're involved in helping support are only supporting the growth that much further. It's amazing to see how a negative thing like a global pandemic could really develop growth in certain sectors around the world, and here's one case in Mexico that you're sharing with us. So we're running out of time here, and I like to ask this question of all of my guests because of the audience of our videos, and that is, for a foreign business executive entering Mexico, what advice do you have for them, particularly in the aerospace industry? So maybe they're a supplier, maybe they're an aerospace executive themselves. What advice do you have when working in Mexico?
Well, I would give you two advices. The first one is try to reach a local ally or organization. Actually, we help companies interested in providing information, opening opening the right doors within the regional, local, and even federal government to have discussions about their project. And have a local partner. Don't necessarily need to be us. As a matter of fact, we don't charge for our services. We're actually non-profit, and therefore we don't charge for those services for companies. And the second one is to talk to companies. Our industry sector is fairly small, and everybody knows each other and everything. So there's a lot of companies that already have operations in Mexico. Touch base with them, and some of them are your suppliers or your clients. Just ask them how things are going in Mexico, so that they can give you a more unbiased point of view of what's happening in Mexico. We always recommend that, because we know that the feedback in that case will be positive, and that will encourage the companies to take the step and start doing business in Mexico.
Very good, Luis. Good pieces of advice. Have local market intelligence and some in-market networking and connections to help for a successful expansion. Thank you very much for your time. Let's leave it there for today, Luis. We're very grateful for your time, and we hope that this interview gives our viewers greater insights into the aerospace industry in Mexico and the work that your organization is doing. And for more information about Factum Global, please visit factumglobal.com and our Global Insider Talks interview series. Thank you for joining us today.